Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we crack open corporate documents and find the juicy bits. Can you believe a company went and sold shares that technically aren't finalized yet? Today, we're diving into the KKR FS Income Trust, Select's latest report to see what is really going on under the hood. Before we jump into the numbers, if you get your kicks from understanding what these financial filings really mean, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. And hey, we've got a fantastic community over on Discord, so check the link in the description to join the conversation. So KKR FS Income Trust Select, they're putting out this report to tell everyone about some recent business. It looks like they've been busy selling more of their company to investors. The big story here is about how they've been selling shares. They mentioned selling almost 2 million shares of Class S units. Now, get this, the exact number of shares they actually selling is going to be decided later, on the 23rd of September. It is a little bit like saying you are going to sell a cake, but you haven't tea-baked it yet, and you are not entirely sure how big it will be. They pulled in a hefty sum for these shares, around $50.6 million. Remember, this is just for this specific batch of shares, and they redoing this as part of a bigger plan to raise money. This whole selling of shares is part of what they call a continuous private offering. Think of it like a store that is always open for business, selling more and more of its goods. They're doing this without needing to go through the full public registration process that most companies have to do, relying on specific rules that allow them to sell to certain types of investors. And who are these investors they're selling to? They're making sure everyone who buys these shares fits the description of an accredited investor. This basically means they're considered financially savvy enough to understand the risks involved in these kinds of private deals. Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about what the company is actually worth. As of the end of August, each Class S share was valued at $25.6. This number is important because it tells you how much each piece of the company is worth based on its underlying assets. And the whole company, all its assets and everything, is valued at about $758.9 million as of early September. That's a pretty big number, and it gives you a sense of the overall scale of this trust. This private offering we talked about earlier, it is a massive operation. They're replanning to sell shares worth up to $5 billion. So that $50 million sale is just a small drop in a very large bucket they're trying to fill. And they're making good progress. So far, they've sold over 30 million Class S shares, bringing in close to $782 million. This really shows they actively growing and bringing in significant capital. They're not slowing down either. They plan to keep selling shares every month. This suggests they have ongoing investment plans and need a steady flow of cash to make them happen. Now, for the nitty-gritty. While there aren't any huge financial tables to pore over in this particular filing, the numbers we've seen give us a clear picture. They are raising a lot of money through private sales of shares. And just to wrap up, it looks like Stephen S. Seifert, the General Counsel and Secretary, signed off on this report. This means the company S internal leadership is aware and has approved this disclosure. So what is my take on all this? KKR FS Income Trust Select is clearly in a very active growth phase. They are methodically raising capital through private share sales, and they seem to have a robust market for their shares, attracting accredited investors who are willing to put down significant amounts of money. The strategy of a continuous private offering allows them flexibility and avoids the immediate scrutiny of a public offering, but it also means investors need to be very diligent as they are dealing with private placements. The fact that they are raising billions signifies ambitious plans, likely for investment in a portfolio of assets. A notable risk here is the continuous nature of the offering, and the fact that the exact number of shares is finalized later. This could indicate a dynamic pricing or allocation strategy. Investors need to be comfortable with this level of fluidity. The net asset value of over $750 million is substantial, indicating a significant existing portfolio that underpins these share sales. In conclusion, KKR FS Income Trust Select appears to be a well-funded entity actively pursuing a growth strategy through private capital raising. The numbers presented are impressive in terms of capital inflows, but as with any investment, especially private ones, understanding the underlying assets and associated risks is paramount. Alright, that is our decode of KKR FS Income Trust Select. S latest filing. What are your thoughts on their private offering strategy and the capital they raising? Let us know in the comments below if you found this breakdown helpful. Please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more corporate insights. And seriously, you should check out our Discord server in the description. It is the place to be for all things corporate finance. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.